Have you ever found yourself in a situation where someone seemed to have an irresistible influence over others, effortlessly pulling the strings and controlling the entire dynamic? What if I told you that the secret to this kind of power isn't just about charm or charisma, but something much deeper, rooted in the neuroscience of how your brain processes influence, trust, and dominance? Today, we're going to uncover the Machiavellian power tactics that use brain hacks and game theory to manipulate others and create total dominance in social interactions. If you're ready to understand the neurobiology behind Machiavellian control, stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll be able to see how these brain hacks work and how you can protect yourself from them. The term Machiavellian refers to a person who uses cunning, manipulation, and deceit to achieve power. While many associate it with ruthless politicians or manipulative leaders, Machiavellianism is rooted in a psychological strategy, one that understands human behavior and exploits it. But what happens in the brain when someone pulls these manipulative tactics off so successfully? How do they exploit certain psychological and neurological processes to gain control and dominate? One of the most powerful concepts that plays into Machiavellian tactics is the Nash equilibrium, a game theory principle where players, in this case people, make decisions that lead to a stable outcome, where no one can benefit by changing their strategy alone. The beauty of this concept is that it's driven by rational self-interest, and Machiavellians are masters at predicting and manipulating others' decisions to create a state of dominance. In this video, we'll look at the neuroscience behind Machiavellian power and how the Nash equilibrium can be exploited for total dominance. The neuroscience of power, understanding dominance. To understand how Machiavellian power works, we need to first dive into the neuroscience of dominance and influence. The brain is wired to make decisions based on reward and punishment, and the regions responsible for these functions are crucial in any power dynamic. The prefrontal cortex and strategic thinking. At the core of strategic thinking lies the prefrontal cortex, PFC. This part of the brain is responsible for high-level cognitive functions such as decision-making, planning, impulse control, and evaluating consequences. People who are successful in Machiavellian tactics are experts at using their PFC to predict how others will behave in a given situation and make decisions that serve their interests. When you engage in a power struggle, your PFC is constantly weighing the potential costs and rewards of each action. The amygdala and emotional control. The amygdala is another key brain structure in power dynamics. It is responsible for processing emotions, especially fear and stress. Machiavellians understand that fear and stress can cloud judgment, making people more susceptible to manipulation. By creating a state of emotional distress or uncertainty, they can activate the amygdala, shutting down rational thinking and forcing you to react impulsively. For example, a manipulative leader might introduce fear or threats of punishment, which increases cortisol levels in your brain, leading to stress. In such a state, you are less likely to think critically and more likely to follow their lead or comply with their demands. The Nash equilibrium, game theory, and manipulation. Now, let's talk about the Nash equilibrium, a concept from game theory that plays a central role in Machiavellian tactics. The Nash equilibrium is a scenario in which no player can improve their outcome by changing their strategy unilaterally. In simpler terms, it's a balance where all participants are acting in their own self-interest, but the outcome becomes predictable and stable because no one can benefit by changing their own approach without the others doing the same. Exploiting the Nash equilibrium for power. Machiavellians are experts at creating and maintaining a Nash equilibrium that favors them. They understand human behavior well enough to predict how others will react to various situations. By creating a stable environment where everyone else's choices lead to predictable outcomes, they can ensure that they always come out on top. This might involve manipulating others into making decisions that benefit the manipulator, all while keeping the situation stable and non-confrontational. In a social or professional setting, the Machiavellian will often offer choices that appear to be in everyone's best interest. But by manipulating the way those choices are presented, they ensure that they are the ones who benefit the most. Example of Nash equilibrium in power. Imagine a workplace scenario where a manager creates a situation where employees are competing for a promotion. The manager ensures that the competition creates tension and fear among the employees, and each person acts in their own self-interest to secure the promotion. However, the manager is the one who controls the promotion process, and by manipulating the competition, the manager guarantees their own position of power while everyone else remains locked in a predictable struggle. This creates a Nash equilibrium that serves the manager's interests without anyone being able to change the game unilaterally. Brain hacks and manipulation. How to control others' decisions. The beauty of Machiavellian tactics lies in the brain hacks that exploit natural brain chemistry to influence decisions and control people's behavior. Understanding the key chemicals and hormones that affect our decision-making is essential in recognizing how these manipulative tactics work. Dopamine and reward systems. Dopamine is the brain's reward chemical and plays a huge role in motivation and decision-making. By offering rewards and validation at strategic moments, they condition others to associate them with positive outcomes. This makes people more likely to follow their lead, hoping for a repeat of the dopamine-induced pleasure. Cortisol and stress responses. As we mentioned earlier, cortisol is the brain's stress hormone, and manipulators can use stress to disrupt rational thinking and prompt impulsive decisions. By creating emotional instability or fear, they trigger a fight or flight response, making it harder for their targets to think clearly and make rational decisions. Manipulators understand that by keeping people in a state of anxiety, they prevent them from acting independently. Cortisol can effectively disempower individuals, reducing their ability to question the manipulator's actions and strategies. Oxytocin and trust. Oxytocin, the hormone associated with trust and bonding, is often used by Machiavellians to create a false sense of intimacy. By using affection, praise, and personal connection, they encourage a sense of trust and emotional attachment, which makes it harder for the target to see the manipulation for what it truly is. Machiavellians often use this tactic to create loyalty and prevent people from questioning their authority or actions. The more someone feels emotionally bonded, the less likely they are to break free from the manipulator's influence. Protecting yourself from Machiavellian manipulation. Understanding how Machiavellians operate is the first step toward protecting yourself. Here are some ways to defend against these brain hacks. Strengthen your prefrontal cortex. Build emotional resilience by engaging in activities that promote cognitive control, like meditation, mindfulness, and decision-making exercises. Recognize emotional triggers. Understand when fear, stress, or emotional manipulation is being used to cloud your judgment. Practice self-regulation to stay calm and think critically. Set healthy boundaries. Recognize when someone is exploiting oxytocin or dopamine to manipulate your behavior. Set firm boundaries to protect yourself emotionally and mentally. Stay objective. Avoid being driven solely by rewards, dopamine, or fear, cortisol. Evaluate decisions logically rather than being swayed by emotional manipulation. The neuroscience of Machiavellian power shows us that brain hacks and game theory are essential components of how power players dominate others. By understanding how dopamine, cortisol, oxytocin, and the prefrontal cortex work, we can recognize when someone is attempting to manipulate us and gain control. If you found this deep dive into Machiavellian power and the neuroscience of dominance insightful, make sure to like, subscribe, and share this video with others who could benefit from understanding these brain hacks. Let's continue uncovering the science behind manipulation and power dynamics, one video at a time. Until next time, stay aware, stay empowered, and take control of your mind.